There is a version of this story where Homura Akemi is a cautionary tale. She loved someone too much, crossed the line, became a villain. The discourse around rebellion has run that reading for over a decade. It is a clean story. It is also wrong in a specific way, not in its conclusion, but in its premise. What this arc demonstrates is not what happens when love goes too far. It is what happens when love has nowhere to go. Those are different problems. This video is about the second one. Love, when it functions, requires a structure, not metaphorically a set of concrete conditions, reciprocal memory, time that accumulates jointly, some architecture in which the feeling has somewhere to go, somewhere to be received, somewhere to complete. Most stories about love treat those conditions as a given and build from there. What happens when they are absent? Not unrequited love, which still has a form, still moves towards something even when it fails. Something more precise. Love that cannot complete because the person you love will never carry the context that makes it make sense. That condition does not have a precise name in common use. The word people reach for is obsession. The problem with that word is structural. It locates the failure in the person feeling it, which forecloses the question worth asking. The question is about the conditions, why they were absent, what they were supposed to be. The magical girl genre answers that question before Madoka ever opens. From Sally the Witch in 1966 through Sailor Moon and every franchise that followed, the genre's central promise is consistent. Love is the most reliable structural force available. A girl contracts into power. The power flows from her emotional bonds. The bonds hold under pressure. Sailor Moon's thesis in a single image, the depth of her attachment to the people around her is what makes her capable of anything. The architecture is not examined. It is assumed. The genre relies on it the way a building relies on its foundation, invisibly, until it is gone. Madoka opens on that aesthetic. The creature, the pink-haired girl, the warm music, the offer, and then episode 3 happens. The mentor dies mid-sentence, not heroically, not meaningfully, eaten. The one structural guarantee the genre offers. The figure whose job is to demonstrate that the architecture is real and holding is removed before she can finish a thought. And the girl the show has framed as cold, as dangerous, as wrong about everything, steps forward and picks up the grief seed. Nobody thanks her. The show's first frame, in the rune alphabet it uses throughout, prologue im Himmel, prologue in heaven. The opening scene of Goethe's Faust, in which a wager is made over a human soul. The show encoded its ending in its first image. Most viewers were watching the wrong character.
Hey, sorry to interrupt the video, but look at this. Most of you watching still aren't subscribed. Do me a huge favor and take a quick second to hit subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment. Also, you can help us out for free using YouTube's new hype feature. It's only on mobile right now, but if this video is under 7 days old, you can hype it up to 3 times to help push the channel out to more people. And for those of you who want to go even beyond, we have a new channel membership program with benefits. I'll get into more detail about that later. Thank you so much for even choosing to watch. Now back to the video.
Before the firearms and the coldness, a 13-year-old in a hospital, heart condition, glasses, braids with little bows. She has been in the hospital long enough to fall behind in school. She is being bullied in an audio drama set during this period. She questions whether her existence has any worth at all. She wanders into a witch's labyrinth not because she is brave, but because she is distracted enough not to notice the danger. Madoka saves her. The specificity matters more than it might initially seem. Homura's attachment to Madoka is not the love of someone who falls for an ideal at a safe distance. It is the attachment of a person who had nothing, no connection, no evidence of her own worth, no particular reason to believe she deserved to take up space. given everything by one unrequested act of kindness from one specific person, the first person who reached out, the first person who complimented her name. The first timeline ends with Walpurgisnacht. Mommy is dead. Madoka fights the witch alone. She loses Homura's wish to Kyubei. I want to redo my meeting with Miss Kaname. But this time, instead of her protecting me, I want to become strong enough to protect her. This sentence is the thesis the rest of the series runs on. The wish is not save Madoka. It is a wish to reverse a power dynamic, to stop being the one who needs saving, to occupy the position in the relationship that Madoka occupied in that first meeting. Every timeline after this is Homura trying to make that reversal real. What she cannot see yet, and what the series will spend the next 100 iterations demonstrating, is that the reversal requires changing who Madoka is, a person whose instinct in every timeline without exception is to sacrifice herself for others. To protect Madoka from her own nature would be to destroy the thing that made Homura love her. The structural trap. Every experience they share after the first reset deepens Homura's history with Madoka. Madoka's history with Homura stays empty. They are having two different relationships. One of them is always meeting the other for the first time. What repetition does to grief that cannot complete. Freud identified the compulsion to repeat as the mind's attempt to master a trauma it cannot integrate. The repetition aims at agency, at reaching through reenactment and ending where the person has some control over the outcome. The clinical finding that matters here is that the repetition does not heal. Without integration, without the loss being allowed to become the past, the wound stays open. Each reset deposits new grief with no structure for processing it. The loops are at their functional core a grief avoidance mechanism. They operate through what looks like devotion, because devotion is what they are. The two things are not mutually exclusive. The third timeline ends specifically. Mommy discovers the truth about soul gems and breaks. She kills Kyoko first. She binds Homura with ribbons, is about to end everything. Madoka shoots her to save Homura. They defeat Walpurgisnacht together, but their soul gems are dying. Madoka uses her last grief seed on Homura's gem. She asks Homura to go back. To save everyone, Homura agrees. She kills Madoka at Madoka's request. She is crying. She wakes up in the hospital. She takes off her glasses. She undoes her braids. She chose in that moment to become someone who could survive this, someone who had said goodbye to softness because softness was incompatible with what came next. 100 more months of the same thing. She needed architecture that would hold under that weight, and she built it out of herself. She never puts the glasses back on. Rebellion opens on a warm domestic version of Mitakihara. The girls fight new monsters together. Mommy makes tea. Madoka is alive and ordinary. Everyone is happy. Homura notices something is wrong before anyone else does. What she discovers, the incubators isolated her soul gem while she was becoming a witch, trapping her inside a labyrinth of her own despair to set a trap for the law of cycles. For Madoka, the warm city is not a gift. It is the inside of her own psychological interior, externalized and made habitable. Urobuchi said in the Rebellion pamphlet that the barrier represents the deepest part of her psyche. She wanted to fight alongside her friends. She wanted Madoka present, alive, ordinary. She wanted not to be alone with the memory of all of it. Her ideal is not power. Control is not what she wanted. Her ideal world is this: everyone's still here, and her not being the only one who remembers. Her witch form is the Nutcracker Witch. Nature, self-sufficiency. The description reads, its gallant form, which once split many nuts, is now useless, without any other purpose. This witch's last wish is her own execution, the uselessness. The same wound she started with, not worth saving and not worth the space she takes up, returned as her witch nature after 100 timelines of accumulated grief. Her minions are named after vices, 14 of them. Her despair holds the inventory of everything that broke her. There is a 15th. Its name is love. The text says, love has not yet arrived. The one thing she was doing all of this for is still outside the labyrinth, still approaching, still unconsumed. Then Madoka descends to retrieve her. The most important mechanical fact in Rebellion. Every magical girl in this franchise who reaches the point of becoming a witch does so because her soul gem is corrupted by grief. When a grief seed hatches, it hatches grief. When Homura's gem fully corrupts and she uses it to transcend the witch transformation, the corruption is identified. It is not despair, it is love. The show gives this no explanation. No character stops to ask what it means. It is stated as fact, and Homura uses it to become something the system has no category for. She breaks its logic from the inside, using the thing the system was designed to harvest and destroy. She suppresses Madoka's divine power. She rewrites reality. She captures the incubators and forces them to bear the curses of the world. This last part deserves a moment. The race that spent centuries extracting sacrificial labor from young girls without their knowledge, that built a system designed to harvest their grief and call it a gift, now carries what they created. In the world she builds, Madoka is human and alive. Sayaka is alive. Homura sits above the city. She calls herself a demon. Two things she does not do. Both matter more than everything she does. She does not brainwash Madoka into loving her. Madoka lives in the new world with her memories of divine existence fading. Homura does not reach in and install a feeling. She creates the conditions for a life and leaves the rest to whatever comes. She returns Madoka's red hair ribbons, the ones Madoka gave her at the end of the original series, the ones Homura wore through all of Rebellion. She gives them back. This is not absolution. It is Homura acknowledging, without saying it, what she knows, that what she has done makes her unworthy of what she wanted. The love is still there. She knows the shape of what she has become. We understand exactly why she does it. After the equivalent of 100 lifetimes watching the person you love make the same sacrifice into the same void, the impulse to stop the machinery, to say not this time, she does not have to do this, is a comprehensible one. Watching this honestly, that impulse is not foreign, which is what makes the next part necessary to say without softening. Homura removes Madoka's choice. Madoka made her wish with full knowledge of the cost. The cost was her physical existence, but it was her wish made freely from the deepest instinct she had. Homura undoes it. Whatever the grief behind that decision, whatever the love she has done to Madoka, something structurally identical to what Kyubey did to every magical girl, she decided unilaterally was someone else's sacrifice's worth. That she did it from love rather than indifference does not change the structure of the act. It changes only how you feel about the person who committed it. Sayaka, in the new world, retains her memories. She finds Homura. I will never forget, she says. You, Akemi Homura, have become a devil. Homura says they should at least pretend to be friends in front of Madoka. One sentence on the name. Homura, written in kanji. Flame or blaze. Akemi, dawn beauty. The flame at dawn is the last star visible before the sun rises. The morning star. The show put its ending in her name from the beginning. Urobuchi said in the Rebellion pamphlet, I feel like I wrote all there is to Madoka in the TV series, and now I've written all there is to Homura in this movie. I feel like I've had both of them graduate, and then in the same interview. Anyway, I think that a school where a god and a devil are in the same class is pretty funny. That second sentence is the setup for Walpurgisnacht. Rising, arriving August 28th. Homura confronting the decision she made. Madoka eventually remembering. Homura says so herself in the moment after the rewrite. When that time comes, we may become enemies. She built a world where the person she loves most will one day wake up inside it and come for her. She built it anyway. The word obsession is wrong for Homura's condition because it mislocates the problem. What this arc is a portrait of is more specific. Love that accumulated without the architecture it requires, without reciprocal memory, without time that builds jointly, without anywhere for the grief to go when it had nowhere left to be put. The genre promised that architecture. The system made it unavailable. 100 timelines of unprocessed grief with no structure to receive it produced a person who made the only move the situation left available, and who knew, returning the ribbons afterward, exactly what that move cost her. She became a devil. She returned the ribbons. Both of those things are true at the same time. The show does not resolve the tension between them. The tension is the point.
Guys, if you've made it this deep into the video, just you being here and engaging with the content means the world to us. To help keep this channel running, we've officially launched memberships. You can use the YouTube join button, but we highly recommend using our Ko-Fi link instead since YouTube takes a pretty big cut. Plus, on Ko-Fi, you can drop one-time tips if you prefer. Tiers unlock perks like end credits to videos and entries into our monthly video topic raffle. Win that and you choose a future video topic anime or otherwise as long as it's appropriate. Also, keep an eye on that Ko-Fi page because we'll be launching an official store there too. All the links are in the description. Zero pressure to join. Your viewership alone is already amazing. Thank you.